Okay.
Wake up every day and say your affirmations. Go. Wake up every day and say your affirmations. Go. Wake up every day and say your affirmations. Go. Wake up every day and say your affirmations. Go. Happiness and kindness is a choice. Wake up.
Hey.
What's up? All right. This is things that people don't want to talk about, brought to you by God Level. That will be me. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I am a mother. I'm a nurse. I'm an entrepreneur, and I have a podcast. John, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
John Skywalker, the Sly Talker here, lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, student of psychology, and father. That song that you guys heard in the disclaimer is coming from my upcoming album, The Law of Affirmations. It's going to be coming to all major streaming platforms real soon, somewhere around October 2022. Y'all should go cop that. Just look up John Skywalker. Also, John Skywalker already has 3 albums circulating on all major streaming platforms. Look up John Skywalker and plug in. Salute.
King Newborn, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Peace, 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 peace. It's King Newborn. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Newborn Everything. And as always, I am.
That's it. You'll never say nothing else, y'all. I said that's more than just enough. Before we get started, I want to. Today is a beautiful day. Today we are celebrating our 50th episode. Not only that, it has been 1 year since we have started this podcast. Things that people don't want to talk about. As we did in our 25th episode, I don't know if you caught it. I can give you the name. Does me and know when what is it? What was it? Do men really know if they have a good woman or not? That was our 25th episode. And I don't know if you caught it, but we were giving away cash to everyone who called in. We've talked about it and decided to do that again. So for every call in that we get this evening, have your cash apps ready.
Bop, 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 bop. What?
Just a little something. Just a little something.
What?
Maybe put a little gas in your car,
Mm.
Do it how you see fit. Get yourself some lunch tomorrow, during the work day. But just know today is our 50th episode, and it's been 1 year since we've had this podcast. So yeah, feel free to call in. Hey, Carlos Brown, how you doing, brother Brown? Yeah, I had to correct myself.
Sir
there.
Brown. Sir Brown. Sir Brown.
Sir Brown. My brothers don't let me mess up at all. They correct me at every. What you say? No. This. I can't even be mad at that. I love that. If y'all ain't got that type of protection out there, baby, I suggest you get it. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Today's episode are our parents. This is part 2 of last week's episode. Are our parents taking out their emotional trauma out on their children? John Skywalker is going to go ahead and we're going to hit on what we talked about last week, and then we're going to move forward. If you want to call in at any time, the number is posted 832-318-6966. We are here. Go right ahead, John.
All right. So we want to just conduct a review of some points that we talked on last week. So essentially, we are talking about the trauma cycle. That's what we were talking about last week. That's what we're talking about right now. this is all within the scope of intergenerational trauma. Intergenerational trauma, or also known as the trauma cycle. And that is when someone experiences trauma and then creates a similar experience for children that's within their care. It's also, known as intergenerational trauma. Childhood neglect and abuse increase the chances that the cycle will perpetuate itself. It basically informs nearly everything about the way we exist, how we perceive the world, how we even interact with our reality. And more importantly, as it pertains to the subject, it influences how we parent and model our behaviors, right? And we know the real world implications for that, right? We're looking at children who are inheriting unresolved trauma, and they don't know how to model a healthy parent-child relationship. And so they're modeling behaviors that perpetuate cycles of dysfunction of all sorts, right? We're talking about how we communicate with our children, how we behave towards our children, how we respond to our children. We even covered, one of our callers chimed in, Amina. Shout outs to Amina. She plugged in and she talked about authoritarian parenting, right? She kind of touched on that real quick. And I elaborated on that. We talked about how authoritarian parenting is commonly found in Black households. And so there was some research out there that was examining how it came to be that way. So when we're talking about authoritarian parenting, we're comparing this towards permissive parenting. We're comparing this towards authoritative parenting. And we're also comparing this towards uninvolved parenting. And just to be clear, in case you paid attention last week, no one is just stuck in one style of parenting. We can shift parenting styles at any given time, right? But for the most part, traumatized parents or parents with trauma tend to exhibit authoritarian parenting, and that's characterized by it's basically called extreme strict parenting. It places a high level of expectation on children to perform or behave, obey. There's a little responsiveness, a little warmth. There's emphasis on discipline and control rather than nurturance. Mistakes tend to be punished harshly with this parenting style as well. Yelling, corporal punishment. Those are just some of the practices and some of the philosophies of authoritarian parents. And you really got to think about this now. We've made jokes off of this as a culture, authoritarian parenting.
Yes.
And it's I mean, that's the art form of comedy. It's to capture something that exists in real life and to make it a laughing matter, to make light of the situation. And it also helps us to, kind of understand it differently and appreciate it sometimes. But as we've been seeing in social media these days, the sickness definitely gets captured on camera. We see plenty of examples of this toxic type of parenting, where parents are, yelling at their kids and filming it, administering ass whoopings on camera and filming it, humiliating their children, bullying their children on camera, filming it, right? Go ahead, God Level. You had something?
Yeah, also children fighting their parents.
Yeah.
Initiating that. I could have never, I did that one time. Because I had been abused for so long. After a while, I hit my mother back, and man, I wish to God I didn't. I had, by the end of the night, I had a knife to my throat. I would have never. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So we see that out there, and we're also seeing in lieu of like these very clear behaviors, right? There's also things that we're not seeing. We're seeing side effects such as low self-esteem. We're seeing children who don't know how to, like, they lack a social intelligence, or they have difficulty operating in healthy ways in social situations. We see children who cannot accept failure. They don't cope well with failure. We see children exhibiting aggressive behaviors. We see children suffering from anxiety because they've been in these prisons, for lack of a better metaphor. We see children in these prisons with these warlike figures that's punishing them and making these demands and these unrealistic expectations of their children. They're pushing their emotional trauma on these children. You know, they're yelling and screaming, they're demeaning them, right? And to, you know, really, we can say it's to the fault of the parent, but then it's like, all right, was that parent given the same resources and the opportunities to heal? And if not, well, this is what you get.
Right.
You know, there's no intervention. And so we see these cycles happening, and we're saying, as we view this phenomenon on social media, we're somewhat distressed, we're somewhat sad, we're all having opinions and feelings about what's going on here, but we also have a sense of helplessness, because how do you intervene on something like that? And we're supposedly a community. How do you intervene on something like that? You just seen that, and there's no way for you to reach out to that family and say, hey, you need some help, and I'm here to help. Not, hey, you need some help. Like, everybody, that's the easy part for us. We can go online and tell somebody, go seek therapy. And a lot of the times when we do that, it's not genuine. It's very, there's like a superiority mindset. You know, there's ego in that. You need to go get some therapy. And then you can say, well, I told these people to go get some therapy. Yeah, but you didn't really meet them where they're at, though. So you didn't mean that. Like, you might have prescribed it, but you didn't really mean it. It didn't come from the heart, because your words should follow with some sort of action, some sort of reference. I would challenge anybody who's going to say, go seek some therapy, to follow up with a reference. I would challenge anybody to do that online, right? Because it's very brave of us to prescribe therapy, right? Yeah. And we're not practitioners. And so we could always say that, right? That's a defense. But if you really cared about what you're seeing out there in terms of these parent-child relationships being very dysfunctional and just unhinged, you would make that recommendation and say, hey, I know a good therapist. This is who helped me. But no, we got to share our opinions and our feelings and thoughts as if it changes anything. You know, I got to give a comment to this instead of let me help. But you also do that when you're a cynic, right? You give your opinions and your feelings on something that you don't like, and then you also think to yourself, I feel good about myself because I just told them what to do. I just shared my opinion. I just shared my feelings. You didn't do anything but share your thoughts and your feelings, and you might even get some prayers in there. But real community action is like, yo, do we not feel any sense of service or any inclination towards helping? Like, what is your sympathy here, or where's your compassion? That's really what we need, is the compassion, right? But your sympathy should lead to action. So, you know, just to kind of bring it back to the authoritarian parenting, we're also seeing side effects like anxiety and conformity. You know, authoritative parenting, right, is more firm, it's more democratic, and some Black people feel uncomfortable about that because they haven't really seen it up close and in operation. And so to introduce that different style of parenting to traumatized parents or parents who have normally been adorning themselves with authoritarian style parenting, to introduce that, it's like, you're saying I got to change? It's insulting. But there's also a sense of fear, because it takes courage to do something new. Can we all agree to that?
Yes.
It takes courage
Most definitely
to jump from one habit to the next. So you're going to take this whole class, this whole group, traumatized parents, and then suddenly just say, oh, here you go. Take this away and give you that. Like, there's no ease into it. There's no instruction. There's no context. You just say, hey, that's the solution. Then you move on. Like, there's no curiosity. There's, you know, so it's challenging for an authoritarian Black parent to just change their style like that, because as stated before, this is a framework. This impacts the way that our brains are shaped and how we process information. So being an authoritative parent means listening to your kids. A lot of Black parents don't like to listen to their kids because we got our own emotional problems, right? So what do I look like listening to my child's feelings and I don't even pay attention to my own? Right? What I look like being mindful of my feelings for my child when no one has ever done it for me. So I don't know what it looks like, and I don't even know what it feels like. Because oftentimes when you're empathizing with somebody, when you're being compassionate towards somebody, you're not only there with them, but you know what they need. You know how to respond and kind of remedy the situation. So if I see that a child is suffering in this capacity that I've suffered before, I should know within myself what to give them, because I've experienced, like, oh, when I went through what you went through, somebody came to me and did this. So I'm going to remodel that behavior to you. Right? So introducing authoritative parenting to an emotionally unhinged or an emotionally intelligent parent, an emotionally dysfunctional parent, it's just alien, right? Allowing your child to express their opinion. What? In my house, it's my opinion. Oh, go ahead.
Some parents feel like a child shouldn't have any problems.
Yeah.
Because you've heard that before. You got a roof over your head, you got food,
Yep.
you got clothes on your back. What type of problems do you have? You're not out here working and working a job and paying bills. So some parents feel like, what's wrong with you?
Peace, Dre.
Hey, Dre. So yeah, some parents feel like children shouldn't even have a problem. Go right ahead. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, and then disciplinary action. Contrary to what people believe, discipline isn't just about punishment. Discipline is really about corrective action. And when you have a family that's in an oppressive system that exercises undue punishment to its people, those people in their parenting are going to sort of mimic that. When it comes to justice, when you're looking out there in the world that's just constantly enacting injustice upon you, and your parenting is going to infect that. It's going to trickle down. So as a parent, you tend to be more harsh when your children mess up, because you're also thinking, you can't afford in this system, you can't afford to make these kind of mistakes. So I got to punish you harder than they will. That's part of the conditioning. Yes. Authoritative parenting means placing limits and consequences and expectations that are fair, expressing warmth and nurturance. And that's the emotional aspect of it. Again, it's hard as a parent to express nurturance and warmth to your child when it hasn't been given to you. It's hard because you're afraid of what's going to happen. Right. And the crazy part is you're afraid of primarily two things. It could be anything, but it's primarily two things. You're afraid that you're actually going to be received, and that scares you because you don't know what that's like and it's unknown, even though it's something that you want. Or you're afraid that your child's going to reject your warmth and your nurturance. And so deep down inside as a parent, you want to give that to them because you know the value of it, because you haven't had it. And you want to express that, but you got a blockage there. That fear is there, right? So, we're going to reaffirm over and over again. And, I want to pass the mic because I know I've been talking for a good
No, it's fine. I'm Ashley. Please feel free to call in. I love that comment. Please feel free to call in. Our number is 832-318-6966. Did you read that?
Let's see. Well, hold on. Let me see. Let me see what Amina got here. She says, "It seems when lifestyles are better accepted, when lifestyles are better accepted when people seek it out, or it's incepted into their minds in a way where they feel more empowerment in making the choice/switch." Yes, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. And then Ashley. Woo. Okay. My kids are allowed to have their problems within reason. Within reason. I dig that. They're even allowed to voice their opinions and why they are upset or how they feel about getting in trouble, and we discuss it. They discuss it. Wow. I explain why they are getting in trouble and why I'm punishing them for it. I explain everything, but I do not withhold the rod. Just wanted to share my opinion, but I'm not going to stay for the dissection. No dissection here, love. No dissection here. Yo, that's what's up.
Okay. The rod. I've got to hit on that because that's saying that she whoops her children. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But we had a show on whooping versus abuse, and I'll say it again. I don't know what a whooping is. I know what a beating is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and most times, 9 times out of 10, we did not sit down and have that conversation prior to. You know, it was a lot of yelling and screaming. And how can you talk to someone when they are yelling and screaming at you? Your mind is racing. You know what's getting ready to happen. You're too focused on the end result to even to care about what they're saying or think about what they're saying or take in what they are saying, because you know in a matter of minutes you about to get beat down. Oh man. So yeah.
And so to that point right there, what are you teaching as a parent? What are you teaching your children? Even just consider from a romantic perspective, right? How do you think men and women end up learning those type of behaviors? You don't do that to just any old body. So you learn that behavior like, all right, oh, this, you did this, you did this, and now I gotta punish you.
Yeah.
Versus
versus
when you're getting a whooping, which, you know, back when I thank you, I don't have to do that anymore. But back when we did do it, it was all right, we got to have a conversation. And then same way that Ashley did. But it took me a while to come to that, as Amina suggested. It takes a while for you to get to that. You know, if you're constantly on the path to learning, you start to recognize, all right, maybe there's a better way for me to do this. And so as a parent, you say, all right, man, I need to search for some different ways, some different strategies. Maybe if I just talk to them and level with them and stop trying to be up here and keeping them down here, because that's what a lot of parents do. We do that. There's that dynamic of I'm better than you or something like that. It's a weird space, right, for some of us, but we talk down on our kids and we make it seem like, all right, you're supposed to be like they're just robots. They don't have feelings. They're just supposed to do what they're told, right?
Yeah.
So you think of a strategy of maybe if I look at my child like this is a growing person, like she's gonna become an adult soon. Yep. So maybe I need to talk to them like that. And it's like it's weird because we turn it on and off when we want to, right? We want them to be adults when it's convenient for us. So as a parent, you start to recognize a little bit of diplomacy, a little bit of tact. Let me talk to them and let them know, hey, as a parent, what would you have me do? I cannot allow you to display this behavior, or I cannot allow you to continuously fail at this lesson right here. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
And you're talking to, and then you're giving them stock, right? In their situation, like they created it, right? That's how you end up raising responsible people. Just, and this is discipline, mind you. This is discipline we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And yet they learn from that interaction, that parent-child interaction, they learn this is how I'm going to respond when I'm out here in the world, in the relations with other people that I don't know. In my romantic relationships, I learned from my mother or my father that if you hurt me or if you do something that displeases me, I get to punish you for it. Your morality hasn't even evolved as a child because your parents' morality, their sense of morality hasn't evolved, right? So for Ashley to come to that realization, hey, I could do this and it's effective. And that's the part. intentional. You know what you're doing. You know why you're doing. You know you're not abusing your child. You're inflicting a little bit of pain, but the pain is representative, right? And some parents, hey, I applaud y'all out there that don't ever have to lay a belt on your child. I applaud y'all, because whoa,
Right.
y'all got some good kids and some excellent self-restraint, right? But for some parents, it's like, nah, man, we got to go here. We got to represent this pain. We need to give them something that makes this aversive. Like, and that's where it came from. You know, that's the whole idea. That's the whole concept. I'm pairing this pain with this behavior or this event or this outcome so that you learn to avoid that. So in lieu of that, I'm also going to give you something else. I'm not just going to tell you stay away from these behaviors, these situations, this thing. I'm also going to tell you what's correct. And I'm going to walk you with it. Or if I'm not telling you, I want you to devise it up, and I'm going to be there to coach you through finding that advice, because the best advice to take is your own, right?
True.
But all that I'm explaining, those distinct pathways, man, if you're not given that, you got to look for it. And for some parents, when they're not given something, they look at it like, well, these are the cards that God dealt me. This is what God gave me. So what else? What am I supposed to do? Hence, this is where, you know, barriers to intergenerational trauma come in. You know, what are some of the barriers? There is institutional racism. You know, it manifests in different levels. You know, we're talking about culture as well. We're talking about stigma. We're talking about mental illness. We're talking about the normalization of trauma. The normalization of trauma. It's very difficult to address intergenerational trauma when it's been so normalized that the dysfunction becomes unconscious, and it's hidden in plain sight. It's right there in front of us, right? And it's, again, as I said before, it takes courage to be the generational trauma breaker, to break the cycle, to be keenly aware and say, this is wrong. Something is wrong here. And you listen to your intuition versus what the environment is telling you. And that can be overwhelming as a child, as a parent, as an adult, as a teen, to be like, all right, this is wrong. I'm going to come back to this. And I'm going to address this, right? And then on top of all this, the systems of oppression. You know, you got poverty, you got social inequality, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, racism, negative coping mechanisms such as, you know, drugs, sex, alcohol, shopping, distractions, fear, shame, lack of access to healthcare. You can't treat something if you ain't got the.
I'm sorry, Amina is hitting home right now.
Oh shoot! Go on and read some of those comments. Pop off.
Is hitting home right now. Let me scroll up. Beating children is a form of expression of ego. If the parents are interested in actually having an understanding / comprehension with the child, they will see that beating a child may get their attention long enough to instill fear. We was afraid of our mother. Literally afraid. We knew what type of day she was having by the way she drove her car home. We needed to know from the moment she walked through that door what type of mind frame that she was in. If she zoomed down that hill, we knew to get the hell out of her way when she walked through the door. Like Renee said, I'm sorry, let me go back. Fear, but not lessons, because the beatings are traumatic. And they BC, what is that? Because the things / place the kids focus on, like Renee said, it's hard to pay attention to what's being said while you're being hurt. I'm too busy trying to block or cover up my face when you're wailing on me with a belt, with a stick, with a shoe, with your hands. At one point, I stood there and I said, this cannot be real. Like, is this my mother? And why is she beating me like someone on the street? Now I'm more focused on the pain, but not necessarily from the standpoint of correlating. But and I guess it cut off right there. Let me scroll down. I remember being so confused that my mom was saying that she was beating me because she loved me. How? How? So you're trying to tell me that all this pain that you're inflicting on me is because you love me? Are you serious? But then when I look at the relationship between her and her husband, I understand why she took all that anger out on us because of the way he was treating us. And I don't know where that is coming from. Can you hear it? Is that me?
Hear what?
I hear like a shh. You don't hear it? Okay, well maybe it's just on my end. I'm gonna keep going. Anyway, that hurt me more than it it hurt her more than it hurt me. How? How? You punching me, kicking me, beating me, like, how is this act hurting you more than it hurts me? And I'm the one that's in pain. I didn't understand that. The effects has yielded to us being estranged today. I can understand. The moment I got I left. The moment I got an opportunity, I left. I'm not gonna even lie, I left. And I didn't look back. I was like, no. And I hate that we ended on such a bad note because my mother is no longer here now. And it took for her to get a death sentence, which is cancer, that took her on my body here. And we didn't start to talk until she was diagnosed with cancer. And I hate that we didn't get an opportunity to fix that relationship prior to her transitioning. That's my story.
King Newborn, comments?
Man.
I'm just taking it all in right now. It is something to actually I don't know, I guess as an adult, when you have children, you don't understand how much you perpetuate your childhood on your child. And to even add to the part where it says, I'm doing this because I love you, that's because that's all that you know. So you're only limited to the information that you have or the knowledge that you have.
Yep.
You know, so until you're exposed to something different, I mean, that's the way it goes. But then, like John said, once you hit that point where it's like, you know what, we can talk. And you sit down, you talk, you help them understand, okay, so help me understand as a parent, what am I missing from your viewpoint that I'm not seeing? Because I understand as a parent, I understand when I was a child. When I was a child versus my kids now, you know, two different eras. But help me understand from your viewpoint why you did this or why you did that. Then I will even implement, well, what do you feel like should be done? What do you feel like will be a course of correction from this point moving forward so that we won't have this incident no more? Like, help them engage in the discipline. And discipline don't necessarily have to be, you know, a whooping.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I'm all for the talking. It just helped all parties come to a complete understanding. And like John said, you're not talking down to them. You're actually trying to uplift them. You're trying to bring them to a conscious level so they can understand that what they may or may not know, but the way they went about doing whatever it may have been, that it wasn't correct. So yeah, I'm all for talking. Hold a conversation. But I like Miss Amina's Queen Amina comments. Like, yeah,
Amina, honey, please call in. You have the number. What is our number? 832-318-6966.
Might as well call on in.
Might as
Might as well
well
call
call
in.
on in. I got very
Ooh,
plenty of beatings and very little
Discipline.
discipline. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Every time I turn around, I was getting beaten. I'm just like, oh my God. Like it was ridiculous. And it's not the right way to go. It really isn't. It's like you wanted to be this big bad person. Um, to me, it's like, why? But she didn't know how to be anything other than that because she was never taught. But then I hear, coming up that my mother never did get whoopings. My grandmother was like, no, she only whooped her once or twice. So if you only whooped her once or twice, why the hell is she welling on us like it's the thing to do? It was, I'm not going to go that deep, but it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with. It really was. And it was just trauma being passed down. It really was. When you look back and look at a whole, from his stepfather treating him the way that he was treated and the way that he treated my mother and the way that my mother treated us, and then how we treat the opposite sex.
So, pertaining to the question down below, is the conversation around childhood and generational trauma becoming more common and less stigmatized? What do y'all think? Uh-oh.
This is God Level. Who am I speaking with?
This is Amina.
Hi.
Peace and blessings to everyone. King Newborn and Master John Skywalker.
Peace.
Absolutely.
I had a very eventful day as far as my emotions and me jumping and deep diving in my ego. I am terribly ashamed of myself, honestly and truly. I did something today that I realized that I had to criticize myself because of this same topic in my, passing, taking out my trauma on my child, and then how do I heal? So I let a situation that I was going through personally with my child's father, with my husband, and we have another son together. My stepson had a football game today. And there was a person that was going to be at the football game that has caused issues within our relationship. I told myself initially that I was not going to go to this football game because it was traumatizing, right? But because when my son asked me, was I coming to this football game, me trying to be the bigger person and being on some stuff like, I'm not going to let my trauma prevent me from going to this football game, I went anyway. Long story short, I should have adhered to my higher self. My higher self told me to stay home. I should have stayed home. What transpired from that is I deep dived all the way into my ego and got really wild with my actions of showing that I felt disrespected. Now, honestly, I still did pretty good because I didn't bring it out on the football field or at the actual game. But when we got back in that car,
all right, so there was still some damage control. So a little bit of victory was there.
Yeah.
A little bit of victory. That awareness is very key too, Amina. You being aware of that means that you hold yourself accountable. So that's still a win.
He said that's still a win of your awareness.
I'm working on it. And so I was not operating in my highest vibrations. But you know what I've come to realize in this world of duality? We have a big range of emotions and things of that nature that we have the freedom to explore. But just because we have the freedom to explore them, that don't mean we have the right to, right? And so long story short, I didn't directly take my traumas out on my children, but they reaped the benefits of me taking my traumas out on their father, because what it ended up doing is it took a Sunday that it could have been a family time, that it became Mina fussing at their daddy. And so I say all that to say, I I almost did not want to call in tonight because I was like in my feelings, but I said, let me call in. Well, not necessarily call in, let me listen in. And then y'all said call. One thing that I realized that I was so grateful that even with me being as traumatized as I did and they having to experience secondhand trauma, I'm glad it wasn't direct. I'm glad that I didn't get in my feelings and then start yelling at them or demanding that my daughter sit down and behave and act a certain way because I was not regulating myself and my emotions. But I have witnessed my mom doing that. And like I said, as a result of her not being able to regulate herself, there have been times where me and my sister have been isolated because she would be going through manic depression. How she would go through manic depression is she would close herself off in the room. She would demand that we bring things to her so that she can have what she needed. And we basically became little servants. And we had to take care of ourselves. So at certain times she was present, but she was absent. And I understand. Huh?
No, that hit home. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, and so I understand the why of what she was going through and how it contributed to it. And as a child, for whatever reason, I think children are wired to have, sympathy towards people. So I didn't really understand what she was going through then. I just knew it was a hard time for mommy, so I was willing to serve her. So what John was saying earlier about the effects of parents taking their traumas out on their children is that the kids do start going through anxiety. They become people pleasers. And that was the foundation of me becoming a people pleaser because like you, Renee, I had to pay attention to the cues of my mother so that I could understand how I needed to operate so that I could.
Yes.
It was certain times when I could tell if she was on one, I better be on my best behavior because I'm going to reap the benefit of her not being able to emotionally regulate. And I'm just realizing so much today, like you can't break other people because you're broken, but at some point in time, you gotta want to heal. And you might not necessarily be responsible for the healing of others, but at least you ain't breaking them because you was broken. And so when it comes down to beating, like I got plenty of beatings, but very little discipline. And I don't know if me having little discipline necessarily comes from the fact that my mom didn't have it to give to me, or because the method in which she tried to discipline us being more so physical led to so much fear that everything I did that was quote unquote good was only based out of fear. It was only me behaving because I was too scared to get my ass whooped for me to misbehave. There was plenty of terrible things that I wanted to do, cut up in class. I'm a jokester, y'all. I love talking to people. I used to want to talk and stuff in class, but I knew Cupcake messing around talking in class. My mama nickname teachers gonna beat me down. Right. So I wasn't doing it. I wasn't going to do it. And so how that translates to adulthood, when you become an adult, you leave home and you got beatings but no discipline, your decision making be all screwed up because now you don't have the same fear to keep you in alignment. And that's the thing that parents need to know. Like, beating a child might put enough fear in them to get their attention and it's still fearing them, but it's not teaching them how to do the right thing. In order
it's short term.
Right. Do the right thing. So
it's short term.
For me,
short term change.
Yeah, for me as a parent, I have taken steps back from being physical with my child, with my daughter, because I don't want to teach her that the steps towards me correcting you involves me being physically harmful towards you while trying to motivate you to do whatever. I do like using squats and stuff like that because that's teaching the person to employ their body. You know what I'm saying? To discipline their body, to control their body, to regulate their body, and to get certain results. But for me to outright just keep thinking that it's okay to hit a child, to put enough fear in them to motivate them to do X, Y, Z. I just remember being the child that while you're in the midst of getting hurt and your parent trying to tell you, you're not focusing on that. I'm so hurt by the fact that you're doing this to me. I low-key don't even respect you enough to receive the lesson that you're trying to teach me. I don't. I'm looking at you like you know different than those slave masters, than them overseers. You're not trying to understand why we're reaching the quota for today. You just beating me down because I didn't have the action that validate whatever it is that you said that I'm capable of.
Oh, shoot.
You reach my highest potential. You beating me down and reminding me that I missed the mark. That's not encouraging me. That is not encouraging me. it's making me fearful to try to avoid having it happen again. But at the same time, I mean, after the pain of that beating wear off and the desire for me to do X, Y, Z overwhelms me, we're going to be right back here in the same space again. Because you're not giving me the skills to overcome.
Right.
You don't even understand where this behavior is coming from. You don't even want to understand where this behavior is coming from because you're so wrapped up in your ego and your past day parenting style that you feel like was passed down to you. So if it's good enough for my mama to give to me, it's good enough for me to give you. Like, you're not trying to have no real understanding. And I remember my mama tried to do that same thing. Logic and reasoning. I'm going to beat you in love and talk to you and tell you what I'm beating you for and everything like that. And so how I turned out, I'm an overthinker. I think a lot about stuff, but I still don't know how to do anything. Because instead of her showing me how to do what was right, she just criticized me verbally on it and beat me about it. And I still didn't know how to do necessarily what was right. So for me, I'm definitely learning the power of modeling, being patient enough to show a child something, because telling them and then expecting something from them and then not giving them a chance to do it and then using beating as a corrective method to motivate a desired behavior, it does not work.
Does it?
So for anybody else that's listening, like, I understand people are where they are and you got to make a transition. But if you need to know what the potential outcome of beating your child is, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my mama almost haven't spoken for a whole year. And it's because when I was a child, she was able to have authority over me and she was able to control our relationship by beating me. Last year, she got upset about something, and you know what she decided to do? She put her hands on me again. And that made me know I had to step away from her. Because any adult that's going to real life choose to hit me instead of trying to communicate with me, I don't deserve that. I don't care who it is. I don't deserve it. I don't care who it is. And so now it's been nearly a year and we still haven't talked, and I'm just waiting. She has to get some skills, and I've been working on myself in the meantime. Holding that boundary has been hard.
Wow.
My boundary has been so hard.
Yeah.
But I'd rather hold that boundary than to throw myself back into a position of allowing people to think that they can hit me to motivate me to do whatever it is that they claim is the good for me to do. What's in my best interest? If it's really truly in my best interest and you trust the way that you raised me, or you trust me as your spouse or partner or XYZ, whatever the case may be, then there should be enough of love and patience and grace to watch me while I learn it. And when times get hard and I don't seem to be learning this lesson, then you're supposed to still exhibit that grace, that patience, that love, compassion. Not get frustrated and then act out of your ego and decide that you want to put your hands on me. Because now this ain't even about me no more. This ain't even about me learning the lesson. This is not about you being invested in my well-being, because you're breaking me by beating on me and hurting me physically. And now I'm so emotionally traumatized by what you did to me, I can't even get the lesson right to begin with anyway.
Dang. Another barrier.
And the rebellion. People don't even understand. You beat on these kids, you demean them and stuff like that, and criticize children, all these different things, beat them down emotionally, verbally, and then expect for them to do something good. Sometimes kids will turn around, you trigger their ego. Then they're going to show you. I went through a terrible period in my life because my mom started criticizing the romantic relationship I got into. And she kept telling me, you ain't going to do nothing but let him make a whore out of you. I'd be darned if I didn't go through a whole phase trying to prove to him after he was unfaithful to me that I can do it too. But also, it was me activating the affirmations that were spoken over me. And it was me leaning into my ego. Hey, y'all said I'm going to be a hoe, well, watch me be a good one. And that's so terrible because I really broke myself because somebody else had broke. And I broke myself first. But whatever, when somebody tells you that they love you, so they beating you down, you know what you start doing? Your self-love looks like you beating yourself down.
Ooh, damn.
Your self-love starts to look like you beating yourself down. Because your self love can't look like you lifting yourself up because you've been taught that love is getting me down.
Yeah. Yep. That love
And
hurts.
so it don't always manifest in relationships, romantic relationship with in form of domestic violence. It forms in the form of your self love is you doing all kinds of stuff at your own detriment and expense, just damaging yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because somebody else told me they love me and they beat on me.
Mm.
And so I guess me loving myself is gonna look like me putting myself through the ringer sometimes, right? I gotta learn the hard way. Hard love is tough love is the best love.
Right.
I just destroyed myself at certain times. Then I thank God for healing and understanding. But if it's anybody listening and you still making the choice to physically try to reach your child, thinking that it's going to somehow make a connection in their mind, oh, it's making a connection, but it ain't the type that you want. So, like, yeah, how do we heal? I'm about to get off, but I just wanted to share that because I am the byproduct of it. And I really want to know, too, how do I heal? I'm seeking out different parenting styles, trying a hands-off approach, definitely meeting my child with as much empathy as I have and seeking more. You know what I'm saying? So many times she'll do something, then I really have to ask myself, why are you doing that? I'll ask her, I said, why are you doing that? And then I remind myself, because you're a baby. You're a young soul. You only been on this earth how many years? Oh, you ain't got it figured out yet. Here, let me see if I can help you figure it out.
There you go.
You know. Show me what you know. Show me what you're doing this for. Are you just doing this to explore? Okay, well, some things that you're trying to explore is dangerous. We got to avoid that.
Right.
We can't do that. You can't stick anything in the outlet. That's dangerous. That's harmful for you. That's harmful for me. I can't let you explore everything, but I'm not going to beat you for it because if I'm telling you the thing I'm trying to keep you away is going to hurt you, but then I'm hurting you to keep you away from the thing that's going to hurt you, what in the world? It seems like I'm being hurt either way. Now, when it comes to my decision-making process, I don't care too much about myself because I'm going to hurt myself if I try to explore the world by myself. Then I'm going to get hurt if I try to explore the world by myself, but I'm not getting any guidance. I'm just getting frustration thrown back at me because I didn't explore the world the way they wanted me to explore the world. No, parents got to choose guidance over giving beating.
There you go.
That's it. And I'm about to get off. Thank y'all so much.
Amina, before you leave, I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show, but we are celebrating. This is our 50th episode. This is our 50th episode, and we have been doing this show for officially a year now. I don't know if you caught the 25th episode, but today, for every caller that calls in, we dropping money in your Cash App. So I need for you to send me your Cash App so I can drop you some money in your Cash App and have a good lunch tomorrow. Put you to put some gas. Go buy yourself something. You know, this is just our show of appreciation because you've been a faithful viewer, watcher, caller, all of that. So yeah, please send me your Cash App so I can drop a little bit of money in your Cash App.
I do appreciate that, and thank y'all so much for everything you do because I'm really growing and healing from this.
Thank you. All right.
On top of therapy, I think I tuned in a couple of times and y'all was talking about therapy, and then eventually I was like, I'm going to go get therapy for real.
Yes.
And so that really, it helped me to realize, like John said, when people say it, they say it in a very cynical way. It's like this haughtiness in it. But like, nah, my mama even said it to me. She was like, you need to go get therapy, honey, and eventually I'm just like, nah, for real. I don't care where the source came from. It's the truth. I'm going to accept that.
Yeah.
And I'm benefiting from it.
You go, girl. You go, girl.
I'm out. Thank y'all. I love y'all so much.
All right. Send that Cash App.
Okay.
All right.
That's peace. That's peace right there. That's peace.
Man, did she just describe my whole life? Did she just call in and describe my whole life?
Wow. I hope that ain't your whole life. Maybe just
not my whole childhood. Just I'm sorry, my whole childhood. I'm not above being corrected. She better send me her Cash App. Because I'm like, whoa,
Mm.
Yeah, she just posted.
whoa.
Well, on the topic of breaking the cycle, um, this is what I wanted us to kind of touch on last week. Now, there's so many different ways to do this, but I just want to cover. I want us to cover a few key elements here. Um, oh, AJ loves. I see you, love. Um, no one can be expected to demonstrate growth or recovery before they are ready. All right. So we are talking about the motivation for change. That's what this whole thing, like underneath all this, is the motivation for change. Recognizing that there's a problem. Acknowledge the trauma. That's the first step in breaking the cycle of intergenerational trauma. Acknowledge the trauma. See it for what it is. Right. One of the primary reasons that children are inheriting the emotional trauma of their parents is because parents do not want to talk about it. You can't resolve a problem that you don't know about. You can't heal a wound if you don't look at it. You got to see it. You got to know what you're dealing with. All right. Acknowledgement might look like a confession to your family, to your friends, to your coworkers, um, or to yourself that your pain has hurt other people. So acknowledge the trauma. That's the first step. And then, yeah, consider reaching out to a mental health professional. 70% of adult Americans have experienced at least one trauma in their lives. 6% of that 70% develop PTSD. That's post-traumatic stress disorder, right? There is no one size fit all when it comes to mental health treatment. The best type is the one that works for you. Okay. So finding the right therapy can take some time, but support is pretty much available on the way. But you start by acknowledging the trauma, and then you say, all right, I need some help in resolving this. I don't even know where to start. Some people are going to start with a book. I did. I started with plenty of books before I actually went to therapy because I realized the limits in implementation. It's the implementation that's hard for a lot of us. You can know all you can know all you need to know about the trauma, about how to treat it. But if you don't have an execution plan, if you don't have a plan of action, if you don't have implementation, strategies, systems in place, a program in place, you don't have that in there and you're acting on it, without that part, you just got a bunch of ideas that you ain't using. It's like having a whole storage unit full of money and you ain't spent it. It's just sitting in there. All right. So working with a therapist can find, it can get you some new skills so that you can manage your feelings and your responses. And it can also provide you some insights, some context, some education around the event itself. All right. For some people out there, I know that they're trying what's called gentle parenting. I haven't dived too much in that. My view, I would say mindful parenting, but it's kind of like all the same stuff, isn't it? Mindful parenting happens when you've learned to manage your emotions by responding to a difficult situation rather than reacting to it. So there's a difference between responding and reacting. Reacting is a primed response. It's conditioned. You are conditioned to respond this way and not have to think about it. That's a reaction. It's unconscious. You don't have to think about it. It just happens. It's snap reaction. Responding is you're considering what's going on. You're mindful of the situation. Your attention is in the present and you're processing the data to make an informed decision based off of that data. That's a response. And it's conscious because it's deliberate and it's intentional. It's focused. It's concentrated. All right. So mindful parenting. By helping your children understand their emotions and how they can properly deal with them, manage them. you end up going beyond your own childhood trauma, and you give them a chance to learn emotional control, healthier habits. The thing is, as a parent, you have to be conscious of the opportunity. You have to always be conscious of those opportunities to teach them different behaviors. It's hard. It is hard, but it's hard mainly when you're not consistent also. If you do it a little bit and then you just stop altogether when it doesn't go the way that you want. I mean, if you just click on the gas one time in a car and it only goes so far and you expecting to go 6 miles, but you only tapped on the gas one time, like, oh, well, there you go. It don't work. It don't work. All right. If you're trying to change your parenting style, if you're trying to improve the emotional intelligence of your children, it's going to take more than one hack. This is just as many times as it took to condition you to be how you are. It's going to take just as many repetitions to decondition you.
Yes.
So this isn't time. It's not time based. Okay. Healing is not time based. It's repetition based. It's repetition. How many reps did you perform to heal? How many times did you exercise this to heal? Because it took this many reps for you to get ill. It took this condition for you to get sick, for you to produce this dysfunction. All right. So with also that being said, self-compassion and self-patience, that's also going to be your friend on your healing journey. You're going to need that with you. When we talk about people getting therapy, it's like, what kind of therapy? Do y'all know that, man, there are well over 75 different therapies out there. And, you know, probably a quarter of them have some solidified research, some substantial research behind them. And so you want to select the right therapies, right? There's cognitive processing therapy, where your therapist is going to help you challenge your beliefs and change your dysfunctional beliefs about the trauma, right? And they're going to help you reframe and think differently about the events. There's prolonged exposure, avoidance. Amina was talking about that, avoidance, right? That's one of the character traits of someone who's traumatized. They avoid certain things, right? And so prolonged exposure teaches you to overcome that avoidance by, controlling your breathing, and you talk about your trauma and you gently confront your fear with the real world, right? What else is out there? Trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. This is mainly for like teens and children, right? The goal is to help children recognize their false beliefs, such as like blame. Who do they blame for the abuse, right? And so you're trying to help children properly place the blame or properly distribute the responsibility. They teach them how to correct unhealthy habits, and then also how to develop some healthy coping. Then there's something called eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's EMDR, right? This is more so about how you process your memories, right? But it's also about so reprocessing aims to basically help you release those memories, because sometimes we block them out, and it allows you to process them. And kind of like prolonged exposure, if you're exposed to the memories long enough, you start to, like, they don't affect you as much because you're familiar with them, right? So you're not shocked as much. There's psychodynamic therapy, there's hypnotherapy, there's art and music therapy, journaling, making music. A lot of my music from the past has helped me get through some of my trauma. At one point, it was drawing just for a little while, but it ultimately became spoken word and music. Connect with some supportive people. Connect with a social circle that lifts you up rather than brings you down. You got to really inventory your social circle. Negative coping also means hanging around people that trigger your trauma, hanging out with people that lead you to perform risky behaviors. So if you're trying to heal, why are you hanging with the bad weeds, the bad seeds, the bad apples, the bad oranges? Why are you hanging out with toxicity if you're trying to heal and cleanse and purify, detox? Why are you going into it, right? So, but with that, I want to emphasize something here, folks. Your trauma is ultimately your responsibility. Your family may have passed it on to you. You may have inherited from your family, but it is ultimately your responsibility to let it go, to transcend it, to manage it. Your social circle is support. They help you heal. They are not responsible for your healing. They help you heal. The therapist, same thing. Therapist is there. You hire them to help you. All right. But you are doing the work. You are doing the shadow work. Hands on you. Okay. Trauma education in our community. That's another way to break the cycle. We're doing it right now, talking about it. Right. And then I would say take inventory of your areas for growth. Now, this is not a list of imperfections for you to fix, but rather areas that you know that you could work on to improve your self-esteem as well as your relationships. You're looking at these areas as challenges. You're like, all right, if I want this out of life, I have to do this. So you say, this is an area in which I can grow in. If I do this, this is what it looks like. I'm going to get this. So personally speaking, I wanted a stronger relationship with my son. I had to go onto social media to look for ideas, images that showcase and demonstrated what it looked like, because I wasn't seeing it. And so you program yourself and you say, that's what it looks like. And you rehearse those behaviors. You model the behaviors that you weren't getting. So when you have a poverty consciousness, that's one of the barriers, poverty. When you have a poverty consciousness, you don't even know that you have the entitlement to go get help. When you're poverty minded, you don't feel like you have any entitlement to that wealth. Health is wealth. This is mental health. Right. You don't even feel entitled to be wealthy because you're poverty minded, because you've been told and you've been cultivated in poverty. So why would you think otherwise, that you have the ability, the power, the esteem to say, I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to be a better parent. Where do you get that from? If your environment isn't telling you, you got to tell yourself that. Hence, original statement, take responsibility for it. I want to name 3 key factors for building resilience, and then I'm going to shut up. Strong parent-child relationship. Resilience. Resilience is that bounce back, okay? When you don't have that relationship available, when you don't have it available, you have no foundation for bonding. When you have a strong parent-child relationship, you're giving cognitive, emotional, spiritual, physical resources to that child for them to withstand hardship, for them to bounce back, for them to look at the world and say, all right, this too shall pass. I will overcome this situation. This situation does not define me. All right. Strong parent-child relationship. Good cognitive skills. I mean, we're talking about an intelligence. You don't have to be genius level. You just got to be smart enough to be able to observe your circumstance and process it effectively. And children with good cognitive skills they have like a protective factor against the influences of their emotions, right? And then the ability to self-regulate your attention, your emotions, and your behaviors. The ability to self-regulate. Self-regulate. That means discipline. We're talking about discipline. Having the discipline, the self-control, the acknowledgement that you are an autonomous human being, right? Acknowledging that you have the power to choose That part. That's a key factor in building resilience. And I pinch it off there.
And I'm gonna take over from there. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming in on tonight's live. I want to just remind everyone that we are celebrating our 50th episode, and it has been 1 full year since we started this podcast. I am encouraging everyone to call in. The number is 832-318-6966. Amina, thank you for calling in. I hope you enjoy that little cash we put in your cash app. Before I proceed, I just want to go back over some of the topics, if not all, that we.
Oh wait,
have
she said what was 3? I'm sorry. Just to clarify, strong parent relationship, good cognitive skills, and the ability to self-regulate, self-regulating your emotions, your attention, and your behaviors.
Go.
Those are resilience factors, okay? Those are resilience factors. So if you got those, you got a lot to work with.
All right, starting from our first episode, child sexual abuse and its linked to mental illness. What goes on in this house stays in this house. Why do we hate on each other? Women who date men who make less than them. This is some of the topics that we've had. I encourage everyone to go back and watch. There's some really good stuff out there. Women predators. We had a lot of views on that. I had to come out of that was when I was speaking with my husband about a certain incident that happened within our marriage.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Toxic people create toxic relationship. We talked about Black churches, abortions in the Black community, women who attempt to trap men with babies. Is marriage overrated? This is the show where my brother came on as a call-in, and baby, I just was like, you got to be on the show. He got to be on the show. Polygamy, interracial dating, the N-word. What is the purpose and role of Black men in our culture? We did 2 shows on that. Housing, government assistance, child support, 2 shows on that. Spirituality versus religion, vaccinated, unvaccinated, and booster. That was a pretty good one. The B word, alpha and beta, male and female, human trafficking, plastic surgery, BBLs. They are killing people. Y'all better be careful out there. We did 2 parts on that. Men have called in and agreed that natural is better than the plastic. And we had some real men calling in. Violence in hip hop in our 20th episode, where we dropped so much money that day. Everyone that called in got some lunch, some free gas, did whatever they wanted to do with it. Do men really know when they have a good woman? The answer to that question is yes. They do know. But if you ain't the one they want to be with, sweetie, they ain't fucking with you. Excuse my language. Cheating, domestic violence, men beating women, whooping versus abuse. We did a Q&A, and then we started the month of May off, which was all about mental health. I wasn't able to be a part of the first 2 shows because I was suffering from my own mental health. We'll get into that later. We did Black men and mental health, part 1 and 2. Black women and mental health, part 1 and 2. Black families and mental health. What does healing look like? That is the day that we met Diamond, and he's a part of the show. He had a prior engagement, so he could not be with us tonight. Sending well wishes to him wherever he's at. We talked about suicide, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, accountability and therapy, meditation, another Q&A. Do you have emotional intelligence? We did 2 parts on that. Self-talk, how childhood trauma affects communication as an adult. Trauma bonding, and these last two episodes, part 1 and 2, is Are our parents taking their emotional trauma out on their children? Yes, they are, because, like John said, they have not been given the keys in the previous generation to change it, nor do they even know what it looks like. But here it is that we, this generation right now, is asking questions. We are paying attention. We are becoming more aware that how we was raised and how we was disciplined was not the right way to go. And here we are moving forward with a different frame of mind or a different mindset when it comes to disciplining our children. So we are breaking that, and it's a generational curse. And I came across a gentleman over the weekend, and he said it's not a generational curse; it's a generational task that has not been taken up. So we are taking up that task to change from this day forward. Oh my God! Does my brothers have anything they want to add? And again, we are accepting all call-ins right now, 832-318-6966. And make sure you have your cash app ready. Brother Newborn, King Newborn.
It's not necessarily have much to say. I'm hoping that those that are watching this, wherever you are, if you have any questions or comments, concerns, or anything based off any of those topics that we talked about, please call in. Also, we are celebrating that we've been at this for a year, and I even had somebody inbox me and say, "Man, I love y'all growth and how y'all are developing and coming." I want to say more professional. So that's a beautiful thing, man. And they don't stop here. Also, to Queen Amina, I want to say that this show is because of beautiful people like you that call in. Yeah, that call in and share and understand that this is a safe place.
It is.
There's no thing where we're passing judgment on anyone. We're healing together. We're growing together. So it's just beautiful all the way around. Again, congratulations to God Level for keeping things going. You're doing your thing. The panel has grown, and soon I can see that the callers, the community, our community, will be going along with us.
Money tonight. Where y'all at?
Well, sometimes people are a little bashful.
Yeah, we giving away free money tonight. All you got to do is call in and leave a comment. That's it. I mean, how literally, how hard is that? Where my daughter at? She'll call. She already be in my pocket anyway. The number is 832-318-6966. We're gonna take the rest of the half of this show and do a Q&A. If y'all have any questions for the panel, feel free to ask, drop a comment, call in. Today we are celebrating our 50th episode, and it has been 1 year for things that people don't want to talk about. I've just read off the topics. If any of those sound interesting, feel free to go back to check them out on YouTube. They're all on my Facebook, Twitter, like they're everywhere. They are definitely everywhere.
What all platforms do we have now?
Oh my God. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, StreamYard, StreamNote, Spreaker, and Apple Podcast. Once I upload it to Spreaker, it automatically uploads to Apple Podcasts. So if you can't, I know for the men out there, this is week 1 of football. This is week 1, So if y'all can't catch it today, you can definitely catch it on Apple Podcasts tomorrow. It'll be uploaded tonight. Again, our number is 832-318-6966. We are celebrating our 50th show. This is our 1 year in the making. Feel free to call in with any questions, any comments about anything that you've seen, or questions to the panel. And we're dropping a little cash in your cash app. Who don't like free money? Ooh, hold on, we got a question.
Ooh.
Trophy. The look. It's the look. It's having something that looks good on your shoulder. That's it. It's not so much that they like this person. It's the opinions of others is that they're getting for being with someone who looks like that.
I
My
differ.
opinion. Look, my opinion.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's
I
necessary.
ain't gonna say it as a fact.
Because if it's a I'm not gonna say if it's a when you're dealing with a grown man. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. This is God level. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, how y'all doing? How the guys doing? This is Jeremy calling in. How you doing, Brother Dion?
Brother Dion. Okay, go ahead.
Peace, King. Peace, King.
Peace. I wasn't going to call in, but I felt like I was called out, so.
Oh!
And sitting here listening and stuff, so I was like, let me go and call in for a second.
Okay. Thank you.
I have too much to talk about.
Do you have a comment to share or a question for the panel?
Not necessarily, really. Like I said, I was just listening in, especially to the young woman that was on.
Amina.
It's Amina. Yeah, Miss Amina.
Amina. I definitely went through that similar situation growing up. You know, I always thought that was kind of wrong, even when I did with my nephews. Never once, you know, put my hands on them, you know, but definitely, like, my background is martial arts, so if they ever get in line, you know, like she was saying, doing the squats, putting the books with their arms straight out, letting them hold that, you know, stuff like that. Militant type of style, you know, that's the type of discipline I like to enforce.
Can I ask a question? Because you just mentioned something and it just took me all the way back. And please do not laugh when I say this. Have you ever heard of the dead cockroach?
The dead cockroach? No, it don't sound familiar.
Oh, that is something that I used to have to do, laying on my back with my legs and my feet up in the air with my head off the ground. And you had to hold that position. They was just coming up with stuff. They was just coming up with stuff.
There's different names to that, but I used to call them 6-inch leg raise.
Oh.
When I was in martial arts or when I did a little boxing, that's the name we used to call them.
Oh, wow.
That's a good, something good to use, you know.
It's good for your core.
It's definitely good for core. I definitely had an 8-pack.
You know, I can laugh about it now, but during that time, I was like, "What is wrong? Look, what is wrong with these people?"
Yeah, yeah. I just now, you know, I love to do it, but you know, even then, I still like to do it and stuff, doing the martial arts, but. Yeah, that definitely gets you your abs right, get your stomach tight. That's for sure. Yeah.
All right, Jeremy. I want to thank you for calling in with your comment, sharing this day with us. This is our 50th episode. I'm quite sure you already heard. We're celebrating 1 year for things that people don't want to talk about, and we're giving away, you know, cash prizes. So feel free to send me your Cash App so I can drop a little coins, couple little coins down on you.
All good. I just wanted to call in, say hi to y'all. I appreciate it, though.
Oh my God! Thank you.
Congratulations for the 50th episode.
Yes.
It's definitely an accomplishment.
Thank you. And if you like the hat, go to godlevel1.com and get you one.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
It, y'all. You have a good night.
You too.
Appreciate it, bro.
Okay.
You said the cockroach. I ain't here.
The dead cockroach.
The dead
The dead
Okay.
cockroach. I'm serious. They had us with our feet up in the air, our hands up in the air, and then we had to hold our head up, and we just had to hold that position. My uncle Daryl used to sit down and watch TV, and when we would get in trouble, they kept empty containers of milk, the gallons. Imagine holding them out, stretched out, and you're standing there in front of him, and he watching TV, and you over there trying to.
Yep.
I was like, "What's wrong with these people?"
I know a lot of people don't know this word I'm finna use though, but they used to have these little thick little books about yay big. They was called encyclopedias. And,
Wow. Okay.
I ain't seen them in years, baby.
man, you ever held one of those with both of your hands right in front of you? Man, your shoulders, elbows, the spine, everything started locking up.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, Melissa. Call in, Melissa. You somebody talking about some Go Cowboys. Call in. Yeah, this is officially week 1 of football. I know my son's not having a good day because I don't think the Bengals won today, and they actually went up to their arch rivalry, which is the Steelers.
I got a question for God level. What was your best episode that we had?
Dang.
Our 25th.
That's
Okay.
Our
fair.
25th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because y'all had me in tears. They was like, you was awesome. And I think I've been trying to get back to that. I was like, it was just a lot of engagement.
It was like a graduation for you.
Yeah, I was very excited. It's like our 25th. Like we've been doing 25 shows. Now this is number 50. And I'm just like, wow. It's been a full year. We started this September the 5th of last year. So it's been a full year and a week right now. So I'm just like,
that's what's
and
up.
here we are. So yeah, the 25th show was my favorite episode. What was your favorite episode, King Newborn?
I'm gonna concur with you because I think that day we did get a lot of engagement.
We did.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
Yeah, it was, and we was dropping we dropped so much money that night.
We got a lot of engagement that day. A lot of engagement
on that topic alone.
Yeah.
On that topic alone. Yes. Oh my God.
John? So John, what you feel about this?
He next.
It's probably gonna be when we did the second show on men's mental health. It's probably gonna be that one because
y'all did good.
It wasn't about us though. It was the number of men that came out and supported. And that was very touching for me to see that. I didn't know I needed to see that. And it was somewhat emotional for me. That really opened me up emotionally when it comes to interacting with other men. That was very pivotal because now I have firsthand experience where it's in mass. Like something like anything greater than 6, to me, I mean, shoot, even 4, but it was just boom, 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 boom. The engagement the week prior, seeing all those men come out, and then there's still engagement on that post. On those posts, I still get a comment, a reaction here and there. Seeing those men come out, it really gave me a lot of hope. And I acknowledged at that moment, like, okay, I have tangible evidence in front of me showing that the story is changing.
Facts. Amina got a question for you, John.
It really does.
Here we go. Great. John, how has your relationship with yourself and your son changed since you switched your parenting style? Oh my gosh. It's more relaxed. It's more, it flows better. It's warmer. It's overall more liberating. There's a lot of depth and insight. I also find myself experiencing a larger range of emotions as a result of it. And even from there, it wasn't even just with him, it was also with other kids. God was just delivering other kids into my space, and I just had to respond appropriately. And I knew I couldn't do what I did in the past. It was just like, all right, this don't work anymore. So it made me a better man overall. I'm more proud of myself too. And even my own affirmations. I include fatherhood into my series of affirmations, and that helped as well. Saying those affirmations really improved on me manifesting that for myself. A lot of courage, because I didn't realize how much fear I had in being a father, and it made me empathize even more with a lot of absentee fathers out there, because I had that same fear, and it's like, that's what it is. So now I have more compassion for myself as a result of going through that whole process. And now I can give that same compassion, but also the same level of accountability and expectation. Like, all right, I can hold you to the standard because I'm living proof that you can get there as a father. I was here and I went along, a similar trajectory as you guys. So you can come up with excuses, or you can implement some strategies. You can make some strategies, you can make some changes. So I'm very confident that my parenting now is going to lead to him not only being healthier, but having more wealth to pass down and keeping the legacy alive and healthier.
Knowledge is wealth. Knowledge is
Yes,
wealth.
it is. Yeah, I want to do something. Let me see something. Where we at? How do I upload a picture?
Maybe share, upload.
Share. Okay, hold on. A slide. I just let me see.
Otherwise, you could probably do like an overlay.
Let me see. Upload file. I have to pump this woman up real quick.
Thank you, Miss Yolanda, for the comment. She said that's very powerful, being the change you want to see.
Indeed. Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, like I was telling y'all earlier, I was talking to my grandma about this, and she passed that message down. It's like it's interesting how certain people know that there's a cycle that needs to be broken, but it's even more interesting to observe, like, who's gonna rise up and see what needs to be done, or who's at least gonna try and say, you know what, I'll do it, I'll make it happen. And there not be any ego in it as well, because some people say, okay, I'm gonna break this generational trauma, and then they have so much ego in it, so that's so deeply embedded into the story that becomes the only part of the story. They say, I did this, and that becomes repetitious. It's like, all right, yeah, you did it, okay, you did it for your family, now can you make a model for somebody else?
This is God Level. Who am I speaking with?
Ooh, okay.
My name is Yolanda.
Oh, hi.
Welcome.
Peace, Queen.
I was just listening. I actually, a cousin of mine shared the link, and I just wanted to just chime in for a second, because the gentleman that was just speaking a few minutes ago, I was listening to what he was saying about, the generations, and when you listen to your grandparents tell you, like, hey, be the change, right? We know something is wrong. For me, I grew up in trauma. And it took me some years to actually be able not to recognize it, because I knew that what I was going through was not right growing up. But it wasn't until I became a parent, a mom, and recognizing that there's generational curses that have to be broken.
Yes.
Because if you don't, the cycle continues. And it's not really, for me, my theory, it's not my responsibility for me to try to figure out where it started. I feel like it's my responsibility to be the person that stops it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Take your time.
Takes courage.
Take your time.
Takes courage. It takes courage.
It takes a lot of courage, right? Because I'm 30 years old. I have a child that I sit back and I look at, and not just any child. I have a black little girl, right? A little black, little brown baby. And realizing, and it's not to bash anybody, it's not to say that there's love lost, but to also be able to speak up and say, you know what? I had to fix some stuff. I had to heal within myself, because if I didn't, I would have found myself given the same unhealthy rearing that I received. And I just don't think that you can tell a person and mean that you love them and hurt them at the same time.
Yes.
I don't think that's possible. And I also believe that it plays a huge part in our relationship, whether it's a romantic, an intimate relationship, your work relationship,
Yep.
Your friendship with people. I know for me, I sit back and I think about, I tolerated things from people that I shouldn't have. I took abuse in relationships that I didn't have to. Abuse and pain was what was recognized and shown to me as a child. It's love. That's what I took. And it was so hard to untrain myself in that. It's real. It was so hard to understand that trauma does not have to be a part of your life. It's something that I went through. It's something that I seek therapy for. Which is another thing that I think we as African American people, Black people as a whole need to stop sitting with this gray cloud over going and getting help. Seek therapy. Go and get it. It's mandatory. Able to sit down and just be and living your truth and say, hey, this is what I went through.
Right.
This is what I went through. Address it, fix it, sit down with whatever God you serve and you get closer to God and you understand all of those things and why he allowed you to go through what you went through. And I just wanted to share that. And I want to say thank you for giving this space to people to be able to share it.
Absolutely.
Because you never know if it'll compel somebody else to change.
Oh, absolutely.
Get somebody to sit down and say, I might have had the same thing that you went through.
Right.
Or have the courage to walk away from it or cut ties with it and knowing that it's okay to love people from a distance.
Absolutely.
That it's okay for you to stop and cut generational curses. We have to. We absolutely have to, because the world that we're living in is scary.
It is.
It really is. I think that a part of that is a lot of it is mental health. But I just wanted to call in and chime in for a few minutes and just say thank you.
I appreciate that. But before you go, the first thing I want to say is I want to say thank you for having the courage to share your story. Thank you for calling in. And because it, like John said, it takes courage. It takes courage. I do have a question for you, though, if you don't mind answering.
No problem.
What was the deciding factor that made you change, that made you become more aware? What happened that made you become more aware that a change was needed?
When I woke up and realized that I am really all that my baby had.
Beautiful.
And understanding that the relationship that a child has with me is so different from the relationship that I had with my own mother. And understanding how important that is to me. This thing that we wake up and realize it was going through a very traumatic experience and understanding that if I was to leave this earth today or tomorrow, who would show her what love, what that unconditional love was? I can't have the person that never showed me unconditional love show her something that she doesn't know how to give. So that was my eye opener.
Okay. How long ago was that?
This was 2.5 years ago.
How's the journey going right now?
It's a blessing. It has this little struggle every here and there, but it's been a blessing. It's peaceful. It's been peaceful. It's been beautiful watching myself change, noticing the change in myself, understanding that I have changed. So accepting that change has been peaceful. It's been amazing. It makes me feel whole because I know that, of course, my baby's going to grow up and she's going to be somebody's mother one day, right?
Investment.
You know, I won't be the reason that the child does not have childhood trauma. Knowing that I am responsible for the good memories and the laughs and the lessons and the everything that's going to go into being poured into another child for generations to come. That's been a blessing.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You are breaking the cycle. We're not going to call it a generational curse. We're going to call it a generational task. And you stepped up to the plate, baby.
Yep.
You stepped up to the plate, baby. I bless you. Again, thank you for calling in and sharing your story. I don't know if you heard that this is our 50th episode. And we're also celebrating a year in the making of this show. And we are giving away cash prizes to everyone who calls in. Please send me your cash app so I can buy you some lunch.
Yes,
Please. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Don't forget to send me your cash app, Miss Yolanda.
Absolutely. Have a good night, y'all.
You too.
Peace, Queen. Peace. Yeah, the understanding bring peace every time, man. Every time. When you look inward, you be like, yo, I don't like how this going. I got to change it. Like Amina said, you know, you got to be the change that you want to see. John broke it down. Man, look.
But I like how, you know, and it's always a deciding factor that pushes you to make a decision. And she said she just woke up and her daughter, her child.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. And she took the first step in acknowledging and becoming aware.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I applaud her. I applaud anyone who is aware, is making a change.
That wake up.
Therapy. Yes.
That's the wake up right there.
Yes. She better send me her cash app. Hold on, I have another call. Hold on. This is God Level. Who am I speaking with? Hello?
Hello, this is J-Lo. I heard somebody play giveaway.
She came for the cash gift.
She said that though.
Yeah, she can. Yeah,
she came. I just want to call in for some bread.
Straightforward with it.
Yeah,
so she didn't even say, "Hey, I got a comment in exchange for some bread." She just said,
"I'm just calling in for the bread."
I ain't gonna leave a comment.
Hey, sweetie.
I'm happy to be here. I done stopped. I don't see no reason in complaining.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just rolling with the punches. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, every time you overcome one thing, you know, the enemy always coming with something. But you just stay prepared. I know y'all ain't the same religion I am, but I keep looking to the hills from whence coming my help, please. I got closer to my God, and I can't lie, I've been happy ever since. I'm a little hoarse because I worship a lot. I pray a lot, and I'm pursuing my ministry life too. So I'm happy about that. I want to say salute to Yolanda. Stay here on this platform. You guaranteed to get something out of it. You can come every week. God Level help me more than they know. And they're like family. Shout out to Amina. That's on the line today. Big up and salute. Y'all hold it down.
Thank you, honey. You too. Bless up, honey. Is she gone? I think she's gone. I didn't even get a chance to ask her how she doing. Did she drop her cash app?
Did she?
She did earlier. Yeah,
she did earlier.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she
did.
Yep. She towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hold on. I don't know what's going on. Now my phone want to act janky. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, here it is up top.
There it is up top.
Yeah. I'm gonna highlight it for you real quick. Boom. You see it?
Oh, she dropped it again.
She dropped it again.
Yep.
Hang up and call back, love. Let me get your money. Let me get you some money. What is it? There it is. Hold on 1 second. This guy, love. Who am I speaking with?
J-Lo.
Okay.
Yay! It's our anniversary. Y'all hold it down and keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you for calling in. Thank you for always watching. You always watch, comment, share. I really appreciate that.
And I'm excited. I have learned so much here. Y'all been dealing with my ups and downs, my highs and lows. Even when I wasn't easy to deal with, y'all still stuck it out.
I say thank you in the most humblest manner that I know how. Thank you, Skywalker. That's my brother. Man, all I can say is anybody on this platform, stay consistent. Stay consistent. And they will help you out. You will see it through. I was here probably 3 weeks, and I started seeing a big difference in my life. A big difference. Now you might hear a few bumps in the road, but they'll be here to help you with that too. So please stay tuned in. Y'all hold it down.
Thank you.
Thank you, J Love. Salute.
Oh my God.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sweetie.
Peace, peace, peace. Love Shine, call in. We ain't heard from you in a while.
I'm still trying to pay this woman her money. What? Post that Cash App again, please.
I got you.
Thank you. Oh my God. I love it.
You not gonna cry?
This mic picked it all up. Did you send it to me? Where'd you send it at?
No, I just sent it to you.
Is it?
I'm trying to find it in the comments again. Trying to see where.
Me too. Hey, Diamond, he said it. Greetings, family. I'm peeking in, but still taking care of other business. Handle your business. There it is.
You see it?
Yeah. This is God level. Who am I speaking with?
Sean. So,
how are you doing, love?
I'm just gonna say I'm doing okay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna complain. So I started watching the show. I missed part of the show today, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I had to take a call.
Okay.
But I started watching the show in May.
And
I don't think I maybe missed one. But the show, the platform is definitely awesome. You know, you do it. I do feel like it is a safe place to share. And the thing is, I can say almost every topic we have talked about, I can actually relate to. I'm a little older and trying to heal myself, so that's why I say it's never too late. I'm 55 years old, and I'm just at the point I have a trauma-filled life. I'm dealing with so many things still as we speak, but even as you go through some things, you have to learn how to be at peace while you're going through. I was about your parents. I really didn't get beat when I was younger, but my mother was maybe a bit more verbal with me. You know, she would say things that would be hurtful, and you know, I was growing up. I didn't really get whooped because I was like, I'm the youngest, I'm the only girl, you know, so it was a little different. But one thing, I think Yolanda said, I had to realize my mother can help me in some areas of my life, but she's never helped herself. My mother has not healed. My mother's 84 years old and still talks about things from her childhood. She's unhealed. And we didn't, for a long time, me and my mother did not have a good relationship. And like I said, it did take therapy to help me to understand my mother. I'm not going to say we have maybe the best relationship, but one thing I can say, I have forgiven her. I have forgiven her because she can't give me something she don't have. And I had to accept that. From my mother, like she's 84, and I'm her sole caregiver. I'm responsible for her. She's sick, and it just, you know, I have to take care of her, and I pay all the bills, make sure she gets to the doctor. My mother is now dealing with dementia. And that's not an easy road to watch somebody go through. And with her dementia, she still says her words.
Yeah.
So now I just looked at, okay, she's having a moment. I'm gonna let her have a moment. I'm gonna have to just be quiet sometimes and not say anything, and I let it pass. But some people you can't cut off. Some people you can't cut off. You know, I'm the only child here in the state with my mother. So if the cut off means that no one will take care of her, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I love my mother, even though she wasn't there for me in certain ways. She was there for me, and it was nothing that she wouldn't do for me. She maybe wasn't there for me emotionally because that's where she battled herself. But you know, she provided. She made sure I had what I needed. And like I said, I forgive her, and I think that's the part of healing. Forgiveness is for you. You have to forgive the person what they didn't do. You have to understand where they were at, so they even provide you what you needed. And my mother did not. That's good. A good platform. I have so many things that I have been through. I'm gonna share. Me and God Level had a phone call maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I shared some things with her. And because I have a trauma-filled life, but I'm here to tell anybody. I do believe in God, and I do know if it wasn't for Him, that's my belief. He's kept me in sound mind. Because all the things I've been through, He's given me the strength to endure that. But I just haven't healed. I have to realize I haven't healed for my trauma. And I want to heal. And it's never like too late to heal. This is an awesome platform. I do look forward. I'll be ready. I make sure at least by 6 o'clock I'm winding down, wrapping up so I can what you have to say. Y'all definitely are helping people. You're definitely helping me. And I will definitely keep saying it soon. Anyone that's listening, like J. Love said, it's a good, safe platform.
Yes, it is.
Y'all encourage me to share by sharing about your own stuff.
That's love. That's love.
We all have lived through something, just different things. So, thanks once again, and peace to everyone.
Miss, before you leave, Love Sean, you know we're celebrating our 50th, and this is our 1-year anniversary. You better drop me your Cash App information so I can get you some lunch tomorrow, honey. Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you, love.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, let me pay J Love because as soon as I was putting in her information, we got the call. Hold on. Now, I wrote it down. Hold on. Don't move.
You want J Love's again?
Hold on. I think a lot has, because
there it is. I just put it back up again.
I think she has, it's the wrong, that's 1. Yeah. LUVJ. Yeah, I got it. That's not it. Who is that? Oh, sorry. What's that? Okay. Yeah, this is not right. I have Janet. I don't know who that is. Okay, where is
Love Sean?
Yes.
Enduring traumas aren't the same as healing. You can do, let's see, you can do more. Okay, you can do more than endure. You will overcome the traumas through healing, not just outlasting them. Ernestine, you can call in, love.
Yeah, Ernestine posted her Cash App. She didn't call in.
Oh. That's not how it works, sweetheart. It's okay, though.
Call in.
Okay, Sean. Hold on.
Oh, she said she saw people post a cat.
Okay, got it. Wait a minute. Sean 91967. I just want to make sure I'm paying the right people. Damn.
But yeah, that is a good comment. That is a good comment, though.
That is. I'm still working on J-Lo. I don't know if that's all right. Cash out. All right. Love, Sean. Enjoy lunch tomorrow. Throw it in gas. Put it towards something you want. You know, just a little something. All right. You know, we ready to close out.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? With that being said, I want to thank everyone for jumping in on tonight's live. I really appreciate all the calls, all the comments. Let me take a sip of water. Because I'm gonna go ahead.
No delaying. No delaying.
Yeah, we appreciate the support. We love y'all, man. We really do.
All right. To be loved. I know what you're thinking. I'm not talking about that puppy love, that sneaky love, because certain people can't know about us kind of love. Not that I don't know if it's love. That's not real love. That's that toxic love that never ends on a good note kind of love. You know, that back and forth kind of love, yet that shit ain't really real kind of love. Not that game playing kind of love. Emotional manipulation with the narcissist kind of love. I don't want to look for love, hide love, or force love, or feel like I have to fight a bum bitch over you kind of love. You can definitely keep that kind of love. I want that free love, that unconditional kind of love, non-expectations kind of love. However, you can hold me down and I can hold you up kind of love. I got a headache and you bringing me a Tylenol without asking kind of love. When I walk in the room, you can feel my energy kind of love. I see you and you see me kind of love. We building together kind of love. Trusting kind of love. You know, that drama-free kind of love, that I build you up and you build me up kind of love. You slip, I catch you before you fall kind of love. Caring, sweet, and tender kind of love. We taking over the world together kind of love. You respecting me and I'm respecting you kind of love. That Ramsey the Great and Nefertari kind of love, because we leaving our mark in this world kind of love. The funny thing is, though, you got to have that kind of love for yourself before you can attract that kind of love from someone else. This is God level, things people don't want to talk about. See y'all later.